Yeah. Yeah.
Hear that music? Hear that music? Hear that music?
You know, still fresh.
Hear that music?
Go on. Fresh.
Hear that music? Hear that music? Hear that music?
You know, still fresh.
Hear that music?
Go on. Fresh.
Hear that music? Hear that music? Hear that music?
You know, still fresh.
Hear that music?
Go on. Fresh.
Hear that music? Hear that music? Hear that music?
Dance with me.
You know, still fresh.
Hear that music?
Go on. Fresh.
Hear that music? Hear that music? Hear that music?
You know, still fresh.
Hear that music?
Go on. Fresh.
Hear that music? Hear that music? Hear that music?
Oh yeah. Hey, why not? It's Saturday. DJ Archwisp, everybody. This is the music that you hear. As always, I love Archwisp. Let's do some fucking damage, man. Let's talk some actual technical shit for once. 6 people are in here like, this isn't what I fucking signed up for. I'm just here to hear you fucking bitch about things. Tell us more about weightlifting, nerd. I think that would be an inappropriate comment for somebody to make to me, but who am I to judge? Why don't you tell us about your fucking macros and shit again? Well, I don't want to, because I wasn't following them today. That's why. Hey, happy fucking weekend. And I already broke my rule of I was gonna try not to curse tonight because I'm actually gonna use this stream as a auxiliary resource for a 15-minute talk I have to give at OptiveCon next week that I'm recording for my employer. However, I don't like to. I was about to say I don't like to talk out of my ass, but we all know that's not fucking true. Hey, Safe Sex, what's up, man?
Howdy, how are you?
Am I outing you because I have your actual name on your Zoom?
Dude, my name is David. I could give a fuck less. No cussing.
We're already in.
All right, dude. We're balls deep in it. Then fuck it. My name is David.
We're already in it. We're in it. Hey, yeah. Jedi, what's up, man? Jedi, I trust you to tell me if the audio sounds shitty because I can never seem to get that right.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good to me.
Well, to us on Zoom, it probably sounds fine. Jenny's here.
Danny, I'm eating chocolate.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. How about your macros?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to fucking talk about it. November. Man, November. Fucking DMFMR's in here. Dude, tell everybody in the gamer chat that I miss them. And, like, it's an easy fix, too, because, like, I could just go and say hi. It's in fucking Discord. I just got to click an icon and go in and say hi, guys. That's how lazy we've gotten. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, fucking, yeah, zero trust. You know what? I'm actually gonna put it up on screen real quick. It's safe. You won't be able to see it, but so the reason we have come together this evening is because I had posed a question on Twitter. I really had no agenda about it. Well, I get a little bit of a one. I wanted just to get a react because, quick backstory. I got tasked to do this talk that I had to write about zero trust stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. It's part of my gig now. Get out there in the in the industry and go talk some shit on some things. And I had a general idea, right? I think we all do, about what this is supposed to be. Although judging by the actual Twitter responses, I think the phrase "we all do" is kind of not exactly true. Because a lot of people were like, I don't know what that's supposed to be. I'm trying to find my. Oh no, I don't want to have that website up when I put my browser up. I'm trying to find my background music because I really hate no copyright background music. I hate when it's like too quiet in the background. So yeah, I had it's only 13 minutes. Get F yourself. There we go. Let's play this a little bit. Are you gonna play a ad first? I hope not. There we go. All right. Ooh. Chill.
Like I should be watching something.
No.
I
Yo!
wouldn't be able to do that. I'm hideously ugly. I sound funny. I dress funny. The whole bit.
You're magnificent, my friend. Cyber Goat Psyops. Holy shit. That is my guy. I fucking miss you, bro. It's, again, one of these things. It's as quick as sending a DM, which I don't do. I hope your daughter is well. I hope your family is well, my friend. I'm really happy to see you here. So yeah, anyway, real quick. So I put it out, right? Because, like, I'm actually, Safe and I were just talking about this, like, as we progress in our, like, respective careers, about, like, hey, what are you doing these days? What are you doing these days? And I find myself more and more in the, like, evangelism space, and now I'm in kind of like the sales org, right? Whereas before I was a hands-on keyboard, blue teamer, trenches, rank and file. Now I'm more in like the, hey, spread the corporate messaging, and like not just corporate messaging, but spread general like industry knowledge and shit. Because I like doing that. It's like doing this stuff. I actually get to do a lot of streams and stuff for Splunk. Splunk's been very good to me. They let me do streams. They let me do talks. It's really awesome. So, but I found out the trick a long time ago, and say if you could tell me if you actually concur with this or not. Of like, I had felt for a very long time, little side tangent about what this thing's actually about. I even as early as like 3 years ago, right, or as late in my career as about 3 years ago, I was like, am I still missing something? Like, why don't I know everything? Right? Like, I should know this thing. You would think I'd be doing this enough. Maybe I'm not that good at this, blah, 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 blah. And then one day, I was having a conversation with my old manager, who to this day is the best one I've ever had. His name is Justin Kohler. He's over at Spectre Ops now. And I like something was behind. I didn't get something done, right? And he was like, "Why are you continuously trying to know everything all of the time? Like a thing comes up that I ask you to go talk about. I don't ask you because I think that you're like an expert on it. I don't think because just 'cause you know everything. I've met you. I know you don't fucking know everything." He goes, "But you understand enough of the underlying technology and coupled with the experience and things like that to go and talk intelligently about it and not just, you know, vomit up bullet points and talking points and shit like that." And that was like, oh shit, I don't actually have to know.
Yeah.
I can still learn, and that's an acceptable fucking answer. And I was like, oh, hallelujah.
I agree with that. We can all, very easily be creatures of ego. We want to know it all, and we want to show our worth, especially when you're younger and getting into it, everything. And I used to do it. I mean, my head sometimes doesn't fit through the door. I mean, and I have to catch that. I have to watch out for myself and say, listen, Dave, you don't know it all, but can you get the information? And if you have staff, can I delegate this to the right person? It all comes down to me as a manager. Say, okay, well, what about the training that I've had? Did the training work? Can I trust the people that work, that I'm working with to do said tasks? Because I can't know it all. And then you get into the conversation about SMEs. Don't try to know it all. It was one of those, learn. I think it was Gary Keller, Keller and Williams guy. He wrote a book. It was like, do that one thing. It's called The One Thing. And you do that one thing perfect. Don't try to just blanket your freaking ego over everything. And do that one thing and do it really well. And that's where and as I get older, we were talking about this earlier. No, I'm now. I mean, I was stuck in CLI and a firewall and other devices for years, and now I'm in product management, and I'm like, well, damn. Am I dying? Is this it? Is this how I go? But I have to realize too, it's like going back on our pivoting back on our conversation before we started this, that, hey man, and I saw this tweet basically saying, that old people get out of the way, and at first, let the new people come in. At first, I'm like, well, fuck you, I don't want to die just quite yet.
Right.
I have a couple of keystrokes behind me still yet. But then I look at it and I'm like, the younger people are our generation one, but they can learn very quickly, and give them that opportunity, give them that chance. Let's not just try to say, well, I know it all. Coming back to your point, let's let the kids come in there, the younger people come in there, and let's see what they can do. And I'm getting at that age where I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. And that's, I guess, part of maturity. I've never called myself mature, and I really am not. But I guess you mature in your career as you go on.
I don't mature so much as I just quickly decay. I sit here and start to smell different ways. But anyway, yeah. But so yeah. I mean, that's that I think is the pontification part of the show. But I'm actually and safe. You won't be able to see this, but you guys will be able to see this up on stream. So anyway, the point of this whole thing is actually Safe is my guest because he competed with his team. A team or a partner?
It was one other person. So I'm on the East Coast. He's on the West Coast. We converged down in Orlando to attend this.
Okay, cool. So before we get to that, I have my initial tweet up on, and again, this is why I love Twitter, because I can put something out like this, and this was an amazing thread of a bunch of different reactions. So, for me, since I'm not so much in that strictly practitioner role, I said, when you, security practitioner, like whoever this is looking at this tweet right now, see the term zero trust, what is your first reaction? We have some enlightened answers from Nick saying, I'd like to know more about it because I don't understand it. Steve D3 says, I cry and I die a little. Mr. Arch Wisp, who is our intro and outro music. By the way, he didn't write that music for us. I just asked him if I could steal it. Drink was his thing. Tim says it's a neat idea, but also wishful dream. What are some other good ones in here? Uncle Tumby is like, let's fucking do it. Marketing stuff. Let's see. Confusion with the feeling of betrayal. Sure.
These are great, dude. I
yeah.
didn't see half of these.
Yeah, Russ is much more philosophical. A Sisyphean task. It never ends. Blah blah blah. Let me see. Oh, great, buzzword compliance. I saw that one coming. Sure, why not? Yes. Icano in chat. That is SafeSec. On my screen with you. We have the Ron Burgundy one. I don't believe you. So yeah. Anyway. I try to keep eye rolling to a minimal, and there's some really good stuff. Some very deadpan. We still have XP. I don't really think they really start talking about fucking perimeter, outside perimeter stuff. So anyway, this is what kind of, and I'm just gonna scroll as I talk. There's actually some really good stuff in here. I wouldn't trust me either. Yeah, so a whole bunch of stuff, which I expected. I fully expected. That's why I love posing questions to the ranking curmudgeons on Twitter. So, but I even asked questions about it too to people I know who have actually had to do talks on this and who've had to deal with this kind of thing, and I've heard about it for the past few years. It sounds like threat hunting, right? As soon as marketing got a hold of the whole threat hunting thing, we were off to the fucking races, right? With all the shitty material and beating us over the head with it. But just on my cursory things looking at this, I was like, this just seems like something that's shit that we have known as analysts that we have considered or wanted to consider best practices for years is now just being repackaged in a nice little here's a thing to call it and here's a thing you could probably sell. Although there's not necessarily a fucking SKU for it, right? Because it does take a bunch of different things to do it. But anyway, so that's what I got, and I started to get more and more into it, because anytime I give a talk, I want to give actual ground practical truth to things, and I'm not really about shilling for things. Nor is this what this talk is going to be about. But then Safe comes up and was like, well, actually, I won some kind of grand world championship for this shit. And I was like, well, first of all, today I learned there's a grand world championship for this shit. And then him and I got to talking about it, which I thought was just the fact that there's some competition for it was super fucking interesting to me. And I thought by just having a quick conversation, and I thought to myself, I was like, wow, I would rather submit a 45-minute conversation with Safe about these things than whip up a 15-minute conversation of bullet points, right? But I was like, well, why not do both? So I'm going to do the presentation thing, and then I'm gonna have, hey, for any, and this is more delivering to the executive level and things like that. If you want more resources, here's a link to an abridged version of an interview I did with somebody who won that, was it the Fortinet Fabric Challenge, Safe? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
All right.
The Security Fabric Challenge, yeah.
Okay, so now that we've established we're talking about Zero Trust, now that we've established we're talking about that general area, I'm going to throw it over to Safe and say, first of all, Safe, what the hell is a fabric challenge? What is it, and how'd you get into it?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the Fortinet marketing portion of their product. but it really isn't. I guess you have to understand what the security fabric is. So when we're talking about in Fortinet land, the security fabric is that single pane of glass, and it all talks to each device. You got to have two FortiGate firewalls and a FortiAnalyzer for logging and threat hunting and whatnot, and so that you can comprise yourself a security fabric. So that the security fabric, like I said, it's a one of those single pane kind of deals where you can see everything at all. You use different connectors and that it just kind of, it's like an ecosystem. Well, the security fabric challenge, it was the Fortinet experts convention, and so basically it was a 5-day deal down in Orlando. Okay, and it was over the course of the 5 days, there was basically 8 to 9 hour days of training every day, and then at the end of it on the Friday, you come in for a 3-hour catch the flag competition, and basically it's on what you've learned in the prior days, and the competition was with Zero Trust. So it was a gamified kind of version of that. So you basically, you downloaded this little game and everything, and then you go through it and you hit up a terminal, look at a terminal, run some commands, try to find out what kind of users, what kind of policies, what kind of routes are there, what kind of address groups are there, and how, what's going on, which VLANs are doing, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then you can walk around and go up to the walls, and they've got like a whiteboard there, and it looks like someone's written stuff, and you just go through each of these little steps. You kind of say, okay, this is what I need. I need the this is all Fortinet based stuff. So we're looking at a FortiGate. I need a Forti EMS server. I'm going to need to create some policies. Going to need to install MFA. And then basically you go through it, and you capture these flags. You go through, and each thing that's configured correctly shows up on your board. Think at the end of it, and there were like 10 questions, 10 kind of like questions that you had to go research and find out on Fortinet technology. And that actually pushed us over the global level. But at the end of it, we ended up scoring, I think it was 5,000 points, and the second place was at 3,000, and then under that, kind of lower scores there. But we all tried very hard. The entire room, it was wonderful. This was the East Coast United States competition. We won that, but then we scored so high that we actually won over the Middle East, Asia, Europe, and I think there's one more competition left, and that's the Latin American, and they are beasts. So hopefully we'll be able to keep that. But basically it was just Zero Trust. You're talking about what kind of data needs to be protected, the applications, which ones have sensitive information, how do we need to microsegment this stuff off, assets, what are the sensitive assets, and then any kind of services that any kind of a malicious actor can exploit. We need to identify those, and then there's a whole architecture that you build it on.
So, okay. Now, and also, I'm also going to open up on my first slide when I do make my thing of something that actually Safe said to me via DM. He was something like, if you can describe Zero Trust within 15 minutes, I'll buy you a steak dinner or some shit. I forget what you said exactly. But
I'll wash your feet with a steak and then eat
the steak. I'll wash your feet with, which is I'm not here to kink shame. It's a super specific offer.
I'll do it. You have no idea. You go ahead and do that in 15 minutes, Danny, and it's on, brother. I'll be up to Pennsylvania in 0.2 seconds.
And again, I'm not going to. I just imagine what it's like, especially with how my feet are at this current second. So okay, so here's what I said. Let's back up a little bit. Now we know there's a competition, and the details of the competition and how you want it are going to be super interesting to me. But here's what I said to a buddy of mine. I'm going to make this statement, and then I'm going to follow it up with a question for you, right? And pretend when I ask the question that it is a mid-level executive with purchasing power that has just been to a webinar, and you have to, like, he asks you this following thing. But first, I'm going to preface it with a statement. As I read more about all this stuff, right, and as it's packaged in this nice little Zero Trust thing, I went to a buddy of mine. I said, "Is it just me, Or is this whole push for zero trust just marketing, repackaging security practices we've been screaming about for ages? To which my executive friend said, "Oh, no, yeah, totally. It is." So I'm going to follow that up with, you are in an off, you're in your office, you're in an elevator, you're on an on-site somewhere, and one of your executives in your chain comes to you and says, "Hey, I just went to this vendor con, this thing about zero trust," and I'm trying to phrase this as how an executive who doesn't know about security would phrase this. So I'm going to try here, saying, "Hey, is this a thing?" Well, one, they're going to assume it's probably a SKU, like a product that they can get, which is going to be first no. What is this thing I keep hearing about, and are we doing it? And if we're not doing it, why not? How would you approach that question, knowing what you know?
I would leave the elevator and I would run.
Give me a goddamn answer. That's, by the way, that kind of answer was like half the thread on
Yeah,
Twitter.
man. Yeah. And at that point, we have to kind of make the case, like you said, we were screaming for this for years, and this and that and the other. These VPNs alone are just not working. What are we doing for identity authentication? What are we doing for any kind of application access policies? What are we doing? What are we doing? No, we don't want to do it. It's too hard, or it costs too much money, or it's too much on the staff. And we don't have the training. It's like, well, guys, we're going to have to grow up one day. And that's basically how I really address it in just real talk. We need to get this on. Here are some use cases. This is what it is. This is where we are now. This is what it's going to kind of cost to spin up these different devices and then what do we need to do about planning downtime, maintenance windows, and this and that and the other. How are we going to bring it in slowly to not cause any kind of interruption to business, but still implement a new idea. And it really is it started as an idea. When I first heard the zero trust, I was like, oh, here we go with the XDR, MDR shit. Here we go with marketing. Thank you everyone. It's pretty, it's got pretty buttons. And I really started looking at it. I'm like, wow, when we're talking about the, defining zero trust servers and a lot of these different connectivity, the proxy points, the SSL proxies and whatnot, identifying the device, the actual device that these people are connecting to, that really turned me on, man. Because I'm just like, this is not what we're doing now. All
right, pause right there. So let's create that delineation, right? What are we doing now versus what does it look like when we're doing, for the lack of a better term, I'm just going to keep using zero trust. I don't like it. Okay, like, let's establish this. I'm not using it because I like it. I'm using it because it's easy right now.
Yeah.
How, okay, let's take the scenario of you have, it's very scaled down, right? But like, think of it with like 5,000 people. You have an application, you have a file server, you have something else. Like, think of something else. How are people, and the reason this is an important conversation, right, is because not only was it already going here, but 2020 obviously exacerbated the problem. Now with everybody is out, I know from experience of people's budgets going down or them not needing certain technologies, because now you're not in a centralized location, you have everybody working from home and they like it like that, and now they don't have the need for it. So how are we doing a thing now versus how it looks if you had your druthers and were able to implement a lot of the principles of zero trust? So take me through how that person is accessing shit currently and how they would do it after and what they would need to make that transition.
Right. So at the moment, the big thing that we have to understand, the big thing about the whole zero trust thing is, like we were talking about earlier in our DMs, trust no one, verify everyone else. And I think you had another good one, which was great. Trust zero, 100% of the time.
0% trust 100% of the time.
Yeah. So when we talk about that, we go from, okay, we're talking about remote users, yes, but we're also talking about internal users. And, we need to start managing the user logons, the multi-factor, and what we're doing with zero trust, or what not we're doing. I'm starting to sound like a marketing.
Just use the royal we, just for
basically, with the access policies and whatnot, and using certificate-based authentication in our clients, wherever we may be, we can define exactly what what resources are being accessed internally and externally. There's no differentiation. There's no trust, hence zero trust. And that's kind of where you go with it. And then I can speak on a lot of the configuration items specific to Fortinet, but it's really not going to do any good. It really doesn't matter. But like I was saying earlier, it's the data, applications, assets, and services that you have to protect. What kind of surface are you looking at there? And what kind of gateways are you going through? What kind of micro perimeters are you creating for these? So it really is. It's a lot of marketing to this, yes, but it's just piecemealing together different products and trying to say, okay, using certificate-based authority, we're using tagging to say, okay, these devices can come onto this network and this net with multi-factor authentication. Then that's pretty much where it is. Endpoint verification, all these things are kind of being brought together because instead of just saying, okay, well, you're a Microsoft, you're a 2010 or you're a Windows 10 device. Sure, come on in. Basically, it's sending verifications back out to the endpoint, and then the user responds on that device there. Data sent, and it checks its validity. It has a successful receipt of that transmission process, and then it says, okay, now you're trustworthy. So it's actually taking it much deeper than just saying, well, let me put my password into
Here's a username, here's a password, and
boop, I'm in, and now I have access. Now, of course, in the firewall, we can say, well, this subnet here, we're going to go ahead and say this person using Radius, we're going to have them in a specific security group, Radius authentication, boom, you can only get to this subnet. It's kind of like that. It just takes it a lot deeper with the endpoint management software or servers. So
can any one company claim to solve this?
Oh, no. That's like saying that Palo Alto is only or Brocade or whoever has only got the best XDR, MDR solution. You just can't do it because MDR, XDR, of course, is a whole hodgepodge of things that we should be doing and whatnot for endpoint detection and response. But same thing with zero trust. There's really not one person. Now there's a couple of vendors out there that have their idea of zero trust, and of course, I just happen to know the Fortinet one, but as the stakeholders start seeing what can happen, every time that there's a resume generating event, out there on CNN,
resume generate. I like that resume generating event.
Yeah, exactly. We need to start paying attention a little bit more and doing all that we can, and then you have to have the money conversation. And as you well know, that's a pain in the ass in itself, but it has to happen. And once we put it all together and they can see that there's value out of this, then, boom. And then, then it's going to start taking off more. I think right now we're in the infant stages. People are like, okay, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead with that kind of talk. But I thought it was a lot of marketing BS too, until I started actually configuring it and doing a lot of research on it. But basically, it's that zero trust, it's that least privilege access, microsegmentation. It's just all this stuff that we should have been doing 10 years ago anyway.
Right. And on the other side too, as much as people, including myself, can snark and think about blah 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 marketing, isn't this exactly what practitioners have been fucking waiting for, to get something to get the attention of their executives to spend the money to secure it properly? Yeah, and it's like, yes, well, now we're in bed with marketing because we should actually kind of like what they're doing by bringing this to an attention, by making it shiny and saying, hey, this is some cool shit, come look at it. Isn't that what we've secretly wanted them to do, to get them to see our way of life?
Yeah, I think it's a natural progression of where we are in cybersecurity right now, and information security, is that people are actually starting to pay attention to security and want to spend the money. Why? Because, someone wins. Kaseya. It's like, oh, shit, man. We're really not prepared for this, are we? It's like, no, you're not. Oh, maybe I should have spent the money along. Yes, you should have. And then the whole company culture comes into the into that, and we've got to do it. It's got to happen, and it's painful. But I think look back on when antivirus even became a thing. Like, oh, come on, this is stupid. Nobody's gonna, or no, you can't hack an Apple, or da, da, da. Now we're finding out, oh yeah, you can. Same thing with zero trust and identity management and whatnot. We got to protect the surface. We got to do it, and people are starting to step up and see it. And of course, it's going to be marketing. It's going to be the first ones to stick their big noses in
Yeah,
it.
which is
But
fine.
this one actually rings true that it gets a little bit more than a marketing thing.
Right, exactly, and that's actually I see that probably more as a helping hand. That I think that scale tips like what we talked about earlier of marketing saying we this singular entity can solve all of this. That's therein lies the heresy and the fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
But if you
man.
have a marketing that's going to get behind it and say we've got I'll even, God fucking help me, I'll even allow the term framework, right? I'll allow, we have a framework where we work with partners, right, that do the shit better than we do. However, we've all come to a mutual understanding like, hey, we got some shit that will complement each other. And now, and it's just like somebody said in the chat just now, to which I replied with something I had heard previously, which I really liked. Somebody in chat said, simply put, zero trust doesn't exist. And I was like, well, I think if you think of it more of a journey, not an end state, I think then that makes a lot more sense. Because you're not going to finish it. You're not going to get to a total end state of not trusting anything means nothing fucking works. I think it's more of a fucking philosophy to get to something. And I think if you look at it that way, it could actually become productive.
Yeah, and I
Or am I
think right
talking
now,
out of my ass? I don't know.
yeah, really, let's look at the reality. That reality of it is that we're getting our asses handed to us every day in our jobs when we see these breaches and these and when we start talking about it's not when it happens, or if it happens, it's when. And you know, I don't know. I hate Mark. Ooh, I was about to say something bad. I hate marketing. I didn't mean to say that. That's a no-no. Well, there's my boss on the phone. Stand by. I'll be right back with you. Yeah. No, I don't like marketing for marketing's sake. But when they actually do something right, yeah, that's great. And no, there's just a lot of stuff we need to start paying attention to. And as we continue to get our asses handed to us, we need to start paying attention to that and coming up with solutions. And if marketing wants to put a shiny button on that fucking thing, then I'm all about it. Well, let's just go ahead and make sure it's one viable,
Yeah.
that it actually does work and it serves a purpose and it makes it better for everybody. Then I'm all aboard. And I think that Zero Trust is heading that way.
Yeah.
But right now it's still a flashy, pushy button.
How? And thank you, Clay. Clay, the Veil from B-Sides Philly, and just a handsome fucking devil, has put in the chat. Safe, this question for you. How do you think the implementation of zero trust can impact the effectiveness of rant? I'm gonna ask this question again because I can't fucking talk. How can the implementation of zero trust impact the effectiveness, as I enunciate, of ransomware attacks? Pontificate on that.
Well, I've got to go back to the genesis of where the ransomware attacks usually come from, and they most certainly don't just kind of knock on the front door and say hi. They're already coming in via something internal, via an email or a malicious file on a USB drive or whatever. Usually whale phishing, spear phishing, this and that and the other. That's usually how they gain that traction. In there with the zero trust. And now here, I'm going to go ahead and preface this and say zero trust ain't going to stop no damn ransomware. What's going to stop ransomware is behavior. It's endpoint end user behavior, and we had to throw all we can at it. But zero trust is basically when we're doing the authentication management. And see, the ransomware really can work hand in hand with your EDR solution more than zero trust. Zero trust is more of a network access kind of thing. But you use with a good successful EDR, then that's where you're getting your bread and butter. That's where you come in there, because then that zero trust can start authenticating users using proper identification access management, and then your EDR can say, "Look, what's that process? Where's that going? What's that file? Where's it going out? Oh, it's reaching out to here, there, and everywhere. That's a C2. Okay, we're going to go ahead and block, put you in a high user group, high security user group, and then cut your freaking access." So it all kind of works together. But I don't think zero trust it has a lot of impact on stopping ransomware more than the other ancillary devices and software and solutions that's part of the holistic thing. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
That makes perfect sense to me. Clay seems to understand too. Clay's very sharp. He's a very sharp human being. Very, very, very smart boy.
All you people are much smarter than I am.
So. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Somebody on Twitter was to go back to, okay, so now that we've answered the what is it, we've answered how are you doing it now versus how would it be done if we followed more of these principles. Let's go back to the contest that you and your partner won for like the entire goddamn world. Somebody asked on Twitter, and you've answered this already, but I want to answer it again. Is the contest, is it hacking Fortinets, or is it just sponsored by them? You're actually using Fortinet shit, right?
Yeah, so this was actually a Fortinet convention. So it was Fortinet. It wasn't like some third party group. You bring a bunch of FortiGates in there, firewalls and EMS, and set everything up. No, it was FortiGate. And the majority of it, 90% of it, was training, and we're talking like 8-9 hours of brutal. So I'm going for my NSE 7. I have a 5 right now, so it's 1 through 8. 8 being absolute God, 7 being a wannabe, and you just want to cry. And that's actually what I'm trying to go for. So I did the training for NSC 7. Part of that was the ZTNA, the Zero Trust, in these training classes. I want to go ahead and say that my partner and I, what we did, and this might be good to know for people that participate in team activities as far as capture the flags or just really anywhere, is kind of I don't want to say stay in your lane, but I do want to say that when you're doing these competitions with one or more people, pick a role, pick what you're going to do, and you all collaborate. Because what happens in capture the flags and any kind of competitions like this is you go so hard and everybody's going hard where I'm stepping on your toes, you're stepping on my toes. And I think that's what happened with a lot of these people. They're all trying to do everything. My partner and I just decided, dude, you need to do this, this, and this. I'll do this, this, and this. We'll meet at the middle. Let's talk this out. I did not step on his toes. He did not step on my toes. We got this thing done. So it kind of that teamwork, kind of thing, that everybody just loves to hear. Teamwork, yay, but it's true, pick your battles and pick what you want to do, and just so you don't step all over everybody, and you'll be getting it done just like that. And that's what I did. My dude from Washington, when we met, dude, brilliant. He's already NSE 7, so I'm like, bound down to him, man, because he's really good and fast, and we managed to get it done. It was pretty good, pretty cool.
How long did you have to do it, to complete it?
3 hours, and we did it.
3 hours? That doesn't sound like a lot of fucking time at all.
No, it wasn't. There were, God, I couldn't even tell you how many steps and how many networks you had to configure. User authentication, SAM authentication. Oh no, it was Radius, I think. Yeah, Radius pointing to that server and standing up this and that and the other. It was a lot of stuff that we did. And it was like this. If you could see, your fingers on a keyboard, that was it for 3 hours. It was a 3-hour tour. But it was good. We finished in 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we had a little over 5,000 points. The runner up had 3,000 points, and then under that it was like 1,800. And what took us over the global level was number one in the world was the bonus questions that were there, and it just kind of flew us right up to the top. So
I actually have a graphic I found online. Says blah, 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 this competition hands-on workshop, security rating scores, the first prize, Fortinet ANZ. Did you get a title belt?
It was yeah, we got a gold medal and everything.
Because it says a Fortinet ANZ championship title and belt. Did you get a physical like wrestling boxing type belt?
No.
No, motherfuckers. That's
Liars!
I would not have settled for a medal. I'd be like, listen to me. I was fucking promised a goddamn championship belt, and I want my fucking belt. That's what I just said.
I want it. I want it now. Fortinet, I want my fucking belt, man.
And second,
that might be. I don't know if that's the right one though. What do you look at? ANZ. That's
okay. No, so all right. So I did a search. It's on Fortinet.com. It said the Ultimate Fabric Challenge. Competitive hands-on workshop will divide participants into teams to securely deploy security fabric core products into a model customer environment. Second and third prizes: win your own secure SD branch. I don't know. Wait, it's not. This part's not fucking important. I
got money. I got money.
Did
I don't
you?
need a belt. Yeah, I actually got money,
How
and
much-
I got a free ride to next year's competition too.
How much? How much they get you?
What was it? It's like $500, man. It wasn't a lot, but it was. Hey, that's good. But then the free ride. I like that. I hope it's in Vegas next year. Never been to Vegas.
Where was it? Vegas. Where was it last time?
Orlando.
Oh, that's right. That's what you said. How would you improve the competition? Would you make it longer?
The competition, I would make it longer. I would probably, because I can't say add more tasks because, it is what it is, configuration only is a certain amount of steps. I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more interactive role playing after it's set up. Maybe even different teams logging in and doing different things off of kind of more interactive. I don't know. As far as the actual training goes, they cut our NSC training from I think 13 actual subtopics to learn down to 7 because they didn't have enough time because the first day was all marketing crap. Here we go with the marketing. Yeah. I sent them a little email saying, guys, y'all could have taken your marketing shit out of there and given us the full training that you promised us. But sorry, Fortinet, I love you to death, but you screwed me. You screwed all of us.
No, that sounds cool. Like, and so would you include like some kind of aspect of like a red teaming type thing of like trying to get?
I would love to see that, but I don't think they're, I think it comes down to time, that whole, because I don't know, maybe because they expect that people have to leave the convention at a certain amount of time to get home. On Friday for the weekend. I don't know. Maybe there should be like an extra track to say, okay, well, stick around tomorrow if you want, or later on today. And that red teaming, have a red team, blue team, purple team. I don't care, but that'd be great. That'd actually prove a little bit of worth behind it. But then again, that wasn't really the competition. It wasn't what kind of vulnerabilities can we find.
No, not fair.
You know what I mean?
Do you recall any particular things that you did during the 3 hours that you learned something from? Of like, is it hey, look at this configuration here and this sucks, so let's change it to this and make it more secure? Like, oh shit, I didn't know I could do that. Or maybe this is like maybe something that you did that you would go and take back to that same executive and be like, I did just do this thing that we won, pretty big deal. And I recognize the thing that we have and we should change this. Did you remember anything like that?
Can you hear me, by the way, now?
Yeah, I got you.
I hit a mute button of some sort.
No, you weren't. You were good.
Yep. So, as far as, kind of the takeaways and what you learn and everything, the whole thing was learning. I came back to my hometown after that thinking, what the hell did I just go through? And I had to let my brain kind of fizzle down. Everything was kind of, it was rough, man. It was rough. It was, 8-9 hours a day training, doing some pretty advanced stuff. So I'm about to take my NSC 7 in, 20 something days. So hopefully I'll be able to pass it. But that's what I took away from that. Now, as far as the zero trust, it was just awesome. I liked actually going through there and seeing how it all works because I know it's going to be the future. Being in product, product department, we're going to have to start talking about this. Me as a solutions engineer, I'm going to have to start standing up more data centers all around the place, all around the country to test this kind of stuff. So I needed it. It was something that I really needed to do for future proofing, yeah.
Cool. Well, all right, man. We're almost at an hour, bro, and like this is great. I'm gonna use this again as like a extra resource for
Okay.
to say if people want to follow you. Somebody in chat was already like, is that safe sex? If they want to follow you and find you on the interwebs, where do they find you?
Yeah, find me. I'm there. I'll be your friend. I promise.
Where? Give me like what you're at.
Oh, you talking about at safe_sex? Are you
Okay.
talking about that, or are you talking about where I'm physically located?
No. I was saying like where do they? No. Yes, I want your actual physical address. Where do they find you on Google Maps?
I'll DM and I'll slide into your DMs and give you that later, baby.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, at safe_secs.
All right, cool. And this whole game that you played in one, are you allowed to play it again? And two, would you play it again?
What game are you talking about?
The Fabric challenge thing.
Well, I have to next year. we get a free ride to the competition next year, and we have to defend it. Yeah.
Okay.
So depends on how Latin America does, but we've already beat the shit out of Europe and everybody else. But Latin America, I don't know what's happened with them. I haven't gotten any notification. We might still own it, but then we're gonna have to defend it next year anyway. Again, do this all over again next year.
So, and then to close, I think the key takeaway is that like, yeah, it's cool and easy to make fun of, but there's actually probably something of value here.
There is,
to keep talking
if
about.
Anybody knows me, I love to talk shit about different things, especially marketing. And this actually rang a little bit true. I saw the value in it. So I didn't immediately poo-poo it away. I wanted to look at it and found some value,
Yeah, and I'm actually going to put up on the screen right now. I started reading it, but I have yet to actually kind of finish it. It is a book. There it is, Zero Trust Networks. Yeah. I hope I don't have.
Is that the one, the blue and white book that you had put earlier?
Yeah.
I would get that.
That is Zero Trust Networks on Amazon. That is Evan Gilman and Doug Bath. And I don't think I have any PIA on my screen right now, so there's that. I mean, it shows my fucking location, but anybody who Googles me for 5 seconds knows that. But when I did post this book on Twitter, there was actually a lot of people that came into the fab was like, no, that's actually that's a pretty legit book for the topic. So, all right, cool. Well, dude, thank you for coming on, and thanks for the help with your perspective on it. And I hope other people gain some stuff out of that. I think as I keep aging into this industry, I at the same speed, I am more apt to be curmudgeonly and make fun of shit, but I'm also more apt to look deeper into things and be like, okay, but let me see if there's something to pull out of this. And I think Zero Trust is a really good example of that.
It's just finding the value.
Yeah, it's just finding the value.
Worth it,
All right.
Yeah. Well, Danny, thank you so much. I appreciate the invite, man.
Nice to see you, my friend. And yes, I'm gonna play some music and hang on for a second onto the Zoom while I get out of here.
All right. Peace, everyone.